Okay, folks, I'm going to try out this video for the first time today. I'm going to focus on trying to show you how to make a pattern and use some of the ways we can use the pattern, and some of the problems that you might run into, some ways you can fix that. Along the way, we'll learn a couple sort of tricks. So even if you know how to make a pattern, you might as well watch just to kind of see some of the ways how somebody else does or does something in Photoshop. I'm using an old version of Photoshop, but your version, you should be able to find all these things pretty similar to whatever version you're using. And this is a Mac, so if you're using a PC, you should still be able to find things pretty easily. All the stuff we're doing is pretty basic. So the first thing let's do is just start a new file. I'm going to go to New. Now, I know you're working on postcards right now, so what we could do is just pick one of these things. I could just pick photo or something, web, right? I could use my A4 international paper, get it all set up, pick whatever paper I want. But for our document size, I am just going to go to custom, and just like you were going to do with your postcard, I'm going to make a custom. So it's in millimeters right now. I'm just going to go to pixels, and I'm going to tell it to give me 1000 width, and let's go with 1600. No, let's go with let's go with 1600 width and 1200 height. Okay, that's the size of one of the view sizes that you can set your screen resolution to, and it's right now at 300 resolution, but that's for printing, so I'm going to go with 72. 72 is about the pixels per inch that you use on a digital screen. I'm going to keep RGB color because RGB color we use for digital pictures, things on a screen. We can use CMYK if we were going to be printing. It sets the colors up for printing, but we're not. So RGB color, and I'm just going to go to 16-bit. I mean, maybe I don't need that much color depth, but I'm just going to do it just so I can show you this. We have three different options: 8, 16, and 32-bit. 8-bit is for, a cartoon, basic colors, will be fine. Most photos, are going to be in 32-bit to really get deep color. But I'm just going to stay with 16 because I'm not using a really high resolution, deep color photo. So we're going to say, I want to give it a name. So we're going to give it name learn to make a pattern. Okay, I'm going to hit start. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a pattern off of the internet. You can make your own. There's many ways you can do it. So I'm just going to copy from here. This is just this is like a place. What we can do is hit Control or Command and click on this image here. So I've picked an image here, right? It brings up this little window, and then I'm gonna click through this window and go to whatever website it's at. So this website, they let you use this pattern to make things like pillows, blankets, right? You see that? So now I only got a section of this, but that's fine. I'm just gonna work with the image that's in Google Images, and I can do that by going right click and then hit copy image. So I'm going to copy this image. Now I wouldn't want to do the copy image here because it's really, really small. This is actually what we see, 16 by 16, 600 by 600 size. It's not great for like a professional image, but we're just learning. We're playing around here, so I'm just gonna say it's okay. So now I'm back in Photoshop, and I'm going to paste. You can go to Edit, Paste, or I can just hit Control V, right? Paste it in. There we go. There's my image. Now you can see over here, right, that it made a new layer. I should have, just in case, I should have made my own layer first, right? But it thankfully made the new layer. You don't want to work on background. You don't want to work on the background. So I am going to set this layer to the, base image, right? This is the base image for our pattern. So we got our base image. Now I'm going to select an area to turn into a pattern. So how do I do that? Well, we've got to use this guy right here. This is the rectangular marquee, and if I leave my mouse on my tools over here, I can see what they are. So if I leave my mouse here, it'll say rectangular marquee, and it'll tell me M. M is the keyboard key I can use to select that. We can look at some other ones, like here, down here is to make a shape is U, or here for text is T, or or here is V to move things around. So I can sort of do this. I can hit V, and now I can move stuff, or I can hit U, and now I can do my rectangular marquee. So I am gonna select a section of this. I'm just gonna get the whole picture. Now I can use my rectangular marquee here and select part of the picture. Oh no, I've not used my rectangular marquee. I've just used down here the shape creator, which is U. So what I need to do is I can hit Control or Command Z and go backwards. Right? I just went back. So what if I, maybe I have too many problems. I'm gonna go back, put that back. Okay. Oh, here's my problem. I have too many problems. Well, we have this great thing under Window, and we can go to History. History. This beautiful history window right here tells us everything that we've done. So I can just go back one. Oh, right there. What if I want to go back? Oh, I can go back all the way to the very beginning. But I don't want to do that. So under history, I'm going to go back to name change. Okay, so now I'm ready. I am going to hit my M, which is the marquee. And I'm going to select an area. And I'm going to turn it into a pattern. So now I have this area selected, and I've got my correct layer selected. So I selected the layer base image, and I've selected here. So now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to tell it to define a pattern. So I'm going to define this pattern and say peacock, these peacock feathers, peacock 1, because I'm going to do this a couple times. Okay, so I've done peacock 1. Now let's see what this pattern is going to look like. So I'm going to make a new layer. This button down here makes a new layer, create a new layer, and then I'm going to hide this layer, base image. Now this little eyeball right here will let me hide it. So now I don't have to see it. Okay, you see this? So now, and I'm going to make sure I'm selecting my new layer. Let's see what my new layer is like. A pattern shape 1. We're going to do that, okay? So we'll, right now I've got my layers, or my marquee selected. That's going to cause some problems if it's only going to let me work with inside this marquee. So I want to get rid of it. So the way I can get rid of it is just click anywhere else with my marquee tool. You can actually use anything where you're selecting, so the lasso tool or the marquee tool. So if I use the lasso tool, L, and I make a marquee, so now I've got a selection right here. What if I don't want it? Well, I can just click anywhere, or I can even hit M and then click anywhere, and it goes away. You see this deselect. And you can actually go up here and do the same thing. If you go up to select, you can go deselect. Sorry, deselect here, which is the Command or Control D. So technically we can just go Control D and it goes away. So we've got all this extra junk in our history now we don't need. So I'm just going to go back up to the last thing we needed to do, which was to create a new layer and then deselect. Okay, now we've deselected it, we're on our new layer. Let's make a shape. So how do I get to a shape? Well, we're down here at the U rectangle, right? So I'm going to hit U, and now I can make a shape. Well, I'm going to change this so you can see what it's going to look like for you when you're doing it. So I'm going to make my shape. It's blank right now because right now my fill is empty. This little red line means empty. There's no color. There's nothing in it. And my stroke is nothing. So if I wanted to, I could just make this a color. I just pick a color, right? And you pick any color here, it'll change the color. If I wanted to make the stroke are these lines outside of your shape. If I want to, I could also pick a stroke. Like here's a black stroke. Oh, because my right now my stroke is so big that it covers the entire shape. This is my stroke, 288 pixels. Let's set that down to what is normal, which is 1. I'm going to put a 1 pixel. So now you can see this line around. Well, let's put it at 5 so you can see a little deeper. So I've got a 5 pixel line around my shape. That's the stroke. So now I have a pink shape with a black line. So let's select this back again. I'm going to go back to my rectangular tool, and we want to edit this. So what we want to do is put a pattern in here, not just a fill. We don't want to just fill it with pink and have an out stroke. We want to fill it with a pattern, and the pattern is right here. So we'll select here. Now it just puts this pattern in, but we want to go with, you can see I've already done a couple of these, but this is the one I just made, this pattern, Peacock 1. I just made it, right? So let's look at Peacock 1. Oh no. So what happened here, let's go to our V tool, move tool, and I want to reshape this square so you can see what's going on. So what I can do is hit Control or Command T. Control or Command T. That does it makes it so we can shape it. You see this? It's called transform. We're going to transform this shape. So now that I've hit Control or Command T, I got these little boxes that I can reshape, transform this thing. So you can see this is what our pattern does. It puts this repeating pattern on the inside, but it kind of looks weird. You see, because I selected some white on the outside, and so it just looks strange. Like it's repeating with the border. We don't like that. We don't want that. So how can we fix this? Well, we got to make a new pattern. So let's just. This is a bad one. We don't want it. We're gonna hide it. Say goodbye. Oh, I need to accept. See, I'm in the middle of transforming, as you can see. When I'm done, I need to come up here and accept this. You can just hit enter as well. So now I've accepted. I can now get rid of it. Okay, it's still there. We're just hiding it. We're not looking at it. I'll make a new layer. Oh no, let's go back to our base image. Go back to our base image and turn on our. Let's view our base image. Now, I need to select the marquee tool again, M. Now I've selected it. Now I'm gonna just try to get right here. I'm just gonna try to get the parts that are of the peacock feather. No white from the outside. Okay. All right, great. So now I've selected all that. We're gonna make a new pattern. So image. We're gonna go. Edit. Define pattern, and we're gonna say Peacock 2. Peacock 2. Great. Okay, that Peacock 2 is set. Now we can ignore that. We can put a new layer again. Our new layer, we can call it Pattern Shape 2. Okay, and I'm gonna move it so you can grab these layers. I'm gonna move it above to the top. Okay. So now we're on pattern layer 2. Oh no, my marquee is here. What do I do? Well, I can hit Control D or Command D and get rid of it. Okay, so let's make it again. We're gonna choose our shape, rectangle tool. I hit U, gives us this. Let's make another rectangle, see what happens. Oh yeah, we gotta tell it what we want to do. We gotta come up here and tell it, hey, we want to fill it with a pattern and choose our newest pattern. Right here we can see that newest pattern is Peacock 2. Oh no, look, it's still a little weird looking. I mean, this is not the kind of pattern we want. So I'm gonna again hit Control or Command T so I can sort of move this around, transform it. Yeah, you see it's like kind of overlapping weird with this pattern. Kind of looks strange. See, no matter how big I make it, right, it just repeats. It puts this pattern repeating. So what can we do? Let's start over again. Okay, so We're going to hide this pattern shape too. Oh, I can't do anything. You hear the beeping? I haven't accepted. I haven't said, okay, I'm done with my transform. So I can come up here, or I can just hit enter. Hit enter. Now everything's fine. I can deselect. Back to the drawing board. Let's go back to our base image. We will select it so we can see it. And let's zoom in a bit. I'm gonna zoom in a bit. And I did that by you can use your little mouse wheel to zoom in, or if you're using a trackpad, you can just pinch in, pinch out. So I'm gonna pinch out, zoom in. The other way you can zoom is right here. This guy here, Z. You hit Z, and then I can go see this little plus inside your magnifying glass. See, we can zoom in. Every click zooms in. Now, if I want to zoom out, I just have to hit what is this? Alt. I believe it's Alt. It should be Alt also on a PC, but if it's not, you can just try hold down Alt and see if it changes from a plus to a minus. Hold down Control and see if it changes. Hold down different buttons and see which one changes it from plus to minus. Now that it's minus, when I click, it'll come out. So in, now holding Alt, out. Okay. Now, what I want to do is try to make this as seamless as possible. So I've selected my marquee, hit M, select up here maybe. I want to try to make this as seamless as possible. So it looks like it's repeating and it's not just a big mess. Now, what I'm going to do is try to find a place here where I feel like it's going to, where the point at the bottom is going to meet the point at the top. And what we've got here is you see this little dip here and this little dip here. That's where I'm going to try to grab it. So I'm just going to start from this little dip here, the sort of point where the blue points. And I'm going to go right up to the point here where the blue points. You see that? Now, this is not going to be perfect because I can't really get to the farthest. I wish I could get farther over. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try to get as good as I can get it. So that kind of gets us an image that, as it repeats, it's going to look better than the one we had. I found, a point where it's going to look okay. So let's start there. Okay, now we've got this set up. I am going to make a new pattern again by going to Edit, Pattern, Define Pattern. We're going to go with Peacock. I spelled Peacock. Peacock 3. All right. We've got our Peacock 3. Let's do the same process we did before. I can deselect this marquee. I can hit Control or Command D, or I can just click. All right. So now get rid of our base image and let's make yet another new layer. This new layer we're going to call Pattern Shape 3, and I'm going to move it to the top. Okay, so now it's at the top, and I'm going to zoom out. Here I can use my zoom, hold down Alt, zoom out. Okay. So now let's make our shape again. I can hit my U button, hit U, or I can click here, and then make a new shape again. So it's still a blank shape for me, but if I go up here and I'm going to pick my patterns and go to my newest pattern right here, this is Peacock 3. See what it looks like. Much better. Now it's still a little weird looking. Still not great. I mean, I wouldn't use this for something professional. But if I'm just throwing in something in the background and things are going to be covering it up, I think I'd be okay with I think I can get away with this as long as it's not too obvious that, I mean, when you look at it from away, it kind of fills in. You can kind of see that the seams are here. But I mean, if you're going to do something where this is not the highlight, it's in the background, maybe you even change the color or put some blur on it, it's going to be, it'll pass for something not too professional, something quickly made. But I mean, what would I suggest better? I mean, I would suggest getting a better image, better that you can make a pattern that is completely seamless, that doesn't look like this where you can see the lines if you look close enough. But that gives you a general way of making a pattern. I mean, there's lots of stuff we can use to make a pattern. The internet is full of full of images you can make patterns from. You can things I pattern like some patterns that I like. I like using food. Like there's like you can do jelly beans, right? That's a cool pattern to sort of do. Now, you're not going to get something seamless here from this, but you can actually look up seamless sometimes. Jelly bean seamless. Here. There's a seamless stock photo right there. Right? You might be able to even find one. Here's one here. Well, this is one you need to purchase. As you can see, these Shutterstock photos you have to actually purchase to use, but here's one on Pinterest, somebody else's, that is actually seamless. So we can actually try it out. So I'm going to try this one out. Copy image here. Now I'm going to go back to my Photoshop, and I'm going to turn the remember, hit enter because I did a transform. Turn this down. Okay, so let's make a new one. Let's do a new base image. I'm going to make a new layer. Let's call it base seamless. So we picked a seamless pattern. Enter it. Okay, so there's our base image. Now, you could take your marquee tool right here. You could hit M and try to getting close, try to get exactly every little pixel correct. Oh, look, that's not actually perfect, you see. Got the white in here. That's really difficult. But what you can do, let's see if I remember how to do this off the top of my head. So what we can do is we can make this selection by holding Command, or should be Control, I believe, on a PC. Holding Command or Control and then clicking on our layer. Now, what it does is it selects everything that's actually pixeled. There's actually information in that layer. Now we can look here. You can see this. Let's say if I wanted to look at the base image from before. See, it's gonna come up. It's under here. We can't see it. So if I did that right, I can hit Control or Command and click that, and it'll select that image as well. So let's go back, hit Control Command. Now I've selected that whole image. There's no extra on around. Now I'm going to define it. Edit. Let's go define pattern. Jelly beans. Seamless. So we remember it's seamless. Okay. So now I've made my jelly beans seamless pattern. Let's do yet again. Let's do another layer. You hide this one. Now we got a fresh layer. I want to deselect, so I hit Control D, deselect. Now hit U, so I can make a shape, and we'll see what it looks like. Change our fill to a pattern, and wow, look, it's seamless. It doesn't matter how big you make it. It will continue to go on forever and ever and ever. Now you can do one of these. I've made seamless patterns before. You can make one, and you can see kind of how you do it, right? You make sure that what's on the left side connects exactly on the right side, and the same with the top, and the same with the bottom. You can make a pattern and then just make sure that what's on the top matches exactly on the bottom. What's on the left matches exactly on the right. And now we can look at another one. See, same thing here, right? You see how basically you can make this image by making the image from here over, and then when you have at this side, you just cut a piece and then paste it here. Now you can see they kind of, these parts are really just pasted from over here, right? Same with this top part, right? You can just, this is basically just these images here, and then these are just copied from here, cut and copied, put up here. That's how you make a seamless image. Okay, so that's a little bit of fun with patterns, but also a little bit of introduction to using some of these tools and some shortcuts in Photoshop.